It's so hard. It's so hard. It hurts so bad when hearts are parted. Oh, heaven knows. Oh, no. Oh, heaven knows. Oh, no. I tried to guard it. So hard.
The meat and potatoes. We also have a special guest on our show today, and we're just going to bring him right into the show. Wait a minute. No, we can't, because I've got to set the stage for him.
Definitely.
Because we are stopping the fear. There's a lot of fear going on. There are zombies walking among us. I don't know if y'all are poisoning your brain with the zombie apocalypse that's going on, but we all need to stop the fear. Stop the fear. So what I have done is I have brought a special guest into the studio, and he is writing books now, and he is going to help us stop the fear, not only for us mature people, but for the children. Mr. T is here, and I pity the fool. Don't put the camera on Mr. T just yet. He has had some changes in life, and I want to stop the fear. Mr. T is here, and I have my gold on to represent for Mr. T. And I'd like to welcome Mr. T to the show. And I want to thank him for being here, and he is going to tell us about what he is doing, and he's going to tell us about his first aid book for children and about the future of the books he is writing for children to stop the fear and start putting some security, safety, and representing some solace and peace for the future of people and children. So y'all need to stop the fear. Hashtag stop the fear. And stop the zombies. We were going to get through this, people. Why are you laughing? You've seen those zombies wandering around.
Yeah, I have seen them. You see a lot of them.
Them walkers, they are scaring me. That's why I think that is part of the healing process. And if I'm going to be one of those walkers, look, I know it's poison for the brain to be watching that kind of stuff, but I can't help it, okay? I am stuck between two characters. I want to be the sick man that says all life is precious, and then I see Mulan, what's her name? Mushan? I see Mushan with the sword, and I think to myself, I want to be her.
Not Mushan.
Mushan, she's the fierce warrior, and I say, Shum! I'm going to be Mushan, and I'm going to stop the fear, and I'm going to stop the zombies and the walkers. Mulan, what is her name?
Mushan.
Which one are you going to be? You're going to be a walker. You're a walker. I forgot.
Walker is where it's at. That's what I want to.
Okay, let's bring Mr. T to the show. Mr. T, I pity the fool.
Why, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you. And what walk? Are you going to be a walker, or are you going to be one of the warriors?
I'm more of a crawler.
I knew you'd be a walker. I knew it, Mr. T.
Walking takes too much energy.
I thank you for being here. I really appreciate you putting up with us. You know, we're going to be a little immature, although we're dealing with a very mature topic, which is security. And we need to focus in my brain sheet, which Ray tried to steal from me. And I think your program that you have set up here and that you're going to propose is amazing. And you want to bring this into schools, and it really needs to go in there. And it just starts with first aid, bringing that to children, and, you know, bringing the attention to children about cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which is CPR. And adults need to start taking that class with their children, especially swimming time is coming up here in Arizona. And drowning is a big deal. And children need to know if they see another kid in distress in the water, what do they do? What can they do? And they can be empowered. They can do something, and not to be afraid. The first thing you do, don't panic. Keep the peace. Stay solid. And that is what I'm talking about. Maturity and security. And we need a hashtag stop the fear. Because let me just say something to Ray Love. Things can change in a Rizzo second. In a Rizzo second. In a Cubby Rizzo flash of a second. The whole world can change. And everybody can start to stand up and smile in a Rizzo second. The whole world can smile and the fear can stop and the zombies can stop walking. And you zombies better quit walking and you better stop the fear. Stop it. You are scary children. So that's what this is about. And I'm all about health, wellness, and happiness. And I am all about that too. And so is the Constitution. I want you people to know this. It says in there, you have the right to the pursuit of happiness, but you don't have the right to happiness. It just says you have the right to pursue it.
You can chase it all you want. You may not never get it, but you can chase it all you want.
Now, you already picked your team. You said you wanted to be a walker.
I'm definitely a walker. That's why I'm chasing it.
Okay. Walker. You saw that Mushan moment there.
We're going to go with Moshan for a couple of minutes.
Sounds like it.
All right, so I'm dealing with two walkers. But the main point I want to make is we need to focus on being positive and dealing with peace. And we really want to focus with our guests here. In the next segment, we're really going to go into Mr. T and how he's helping to stop the fear and to bring safety and empowering people and their families with helping them to incorporate children to be part of first aid and to be first responders in a crisis situation and letting them know that they are part of... Who are you waving at?
Our fans.
We are radio. This is, you know what? I'm getting tired of this. This radio stuff needs to stop. I am going to get old and I'm going to get wrinkly.
No, you won't.
Yes, I am.
Modern medicine will take care of that. Don't you worry about it.
I want to secure the fact I am mature enough not to be afraid to get old and wrinkly and...
Just got to stay out of the sun.
Well, they don't do Botox anymore. They now do Butox.
Butox.
But they use butane. But if you smoke, you'll explode. So it cuts down on people smoking. So it's
that really would stop some fear, I guess. But butane. Okay, so y'all heard it here live. Don't do Botox and don't do butane. You need to be like me. I would say stay with my program. Go stay with my focus over here. We're gonna stay with my program, and that is stop the fear. Focus on in a Rizzo second. Everything can change, and the whole world can get up and smile. And in the next segment, we're gonna talk about how we're gonna empower people to find peace and solace and feel more secure about maturing, and so that they can be more independent. And we're going to focus on being more positive people, and we're not going to worry about these walkers, especially these two that are up here in my studio trying to cause positive problems. We're not going to do that. So we're going to dance on out of here. If they could find my music, my Frank Sinatra and my other tunes. But if they can't, maybe we can dance on out of here with some Eddie Vedder talking about Wrigley Field. Because, yeah, we could.
No.
Yeah, we could.
No.
Okay.
I can't find it.
We could find some other music. Some Boogie Woogie or something. Some Frank Sinatra. But anyways, just stick with me. You're on the Be Healthy Show. And this is Nurse to Be. And we're stopping the fear. Hashtag stopping the fear. And we are live. drive ambulances. He was an EMT. Then he was a roadie for. I can't even tell you how famous this guy is. I can't even go into that because I don't want to brag that I know all these famous people and I'm famous and everything. But let's just say this. Then he said, "Listen, I need to go back and humble myself, and I need to give back." So he became a high school teacher, and now he's teaching elementary school. And I just love what they do at this school that he teaches at. He's into mindfulness and positive reinforcement. And but what we want to focus on today is what he's doing. And Mr. T is stopping the fear by empowering children. And it doesn't just start with this book that he's got here, First Aid Book for Children. And if you open the book up, what's important about the books that he makes is that not only are they waterproof, and yeah, you may be able to Google this stuff, but if you're sitting on a beach or you're somewhere where you can't get a signal, and you have this in your camping gear or something's going on, your kid can grab this book and probably, more than likely, be a first responder before the paramedics or someone responds and save your life. And it's imperative because the child would first take a class with you and do the program. And then also, Mr. T wouldn't stop there. He went on to do a series, and then he's going to be doing a pilot program. And then this would be in schools that they would continue the program. So I'm going to bring Mr. T and allow him to speak because my mother says I need to be more like Larry King and stop the talking instead of stopping the fear. I need to stop the talking. So Ray Love, I'm going to let you take the floor and help Mr. T tell us more about what he's doing with Faces, because that's the program, right?
That's the program.
Okay.
All
So let's go.
So let's start with it. Mr. T,
Yes.
tell us a little more about the book.
The book was written, I roadied in the early 70s. Then I left the bands, I left the business and then went in driving ambulance. Drove ambulance from 74 to 96.
Okay.
About halfway through driving the ambulance, I was in the second class of EMTs that came out of the state of Washington. Most of my partners were Vietnam medics who had flown dust off. And so it was a very interesting experience working with these guys. One of the things I noticed, though, was kids. We talk use terminology when we talk because it's comfortable. It's easy to communicate easier back and forth between.
So tell me, how many times were you a first responder and there were children there and you thought to yourself, I have to do something because if these children would have been empowered, we could have been here faster, or something could have been done that these children might have done if they didn't have fear to respond or to implement or to assess or do something.
Hundreds of times.
And is that what inspired you to start this program?
Well, what inspired me of the program was the fact that we did not empower little kids, elementary school kids. 12 years old and on, we teach first aid programs because the Red Cross will teach first aid programs and CPR classes. But for kids younger than that, the kind of draw at that time was they couldn't do it. But the problem that I saw was that because we were moving into a period of nuclear families and where they were living with grandparents and so forth and so on, we needed to give kids the understanding of what was going to happen in an emergency. Now, the number one thing, even to this day, that kills children in the United States is injuries, more than anything else.
Absolutely.
And if I respond, and I'm talking in terminology, I'm taking the power away from the kids. And words can impact you just as much as an injury can. If you talk and they don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about, they'd have no control. I have the control. And I don't want the control. I want the kids to have the control. So the idea for the book came out. Why don't we teach this to kids? And it started out as an after-school program because a friend of mine ran an after-school program, and she used my two boys in the program and said, well, can you teach first aid? Because I was a certified teacher. Right. Even though I was driving the ambulance. I said, sure, that's no problem. And being that I'm kind of childish and immature anyhow, I was able to take a lot of the stupid stuff that I do and put it in a class. And parents loved it. Awesome. And not only did parents love it, But the kids loved it, and parents go, "Why, this is pretty cool," because if you get a first aid book, you go Red Cross first aid, it's like 190 pages.
Right.
And most people have no idea what to do in an emergency. You take a first aid class, and 2 years later something happens. So there's really no shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
So being that I had a program, I had to have a book. So I started writing my book. And the book took me about 3 hours to write. So I took a 190-page first aid book and wrote it all down into 26 panels.
And look at how simple this is. It goes right to the problem and the issue. That's the main thing when you're dealing with children, is you got to keep it simple. And what you said is that it's an after school program. It's incorporated with an adult. So you're dealing with someone that is an adult, so that the child is working with an adult. You're not dealing with, here's a book, have fun with it.
No, there's an
That's
adult.
what's
And
important.
what the initial plan was to put paramedics and EMTs in a classroom with kids and nurses, so they would become a catalyst of answering questions professionally.
Right, and the other thing that I like that you talked about is incorporating the parent or someone that lives in the household, so that this is a tool that's in the home, that it's not just something that's thrown on the bookshelf with the children.
Well, the way I had it in my head what I wanted to do, and when we got the illustrations done, I always went for somebody who didn't have the slightest idea what I was talking about, because what happens is if I shortcut it, and I think that it makes sense to me, it does not necessarily make sense to kids. And an interesting story, just before the book was going to go off to press, I'd written it all down, it was all on a disc ready to go off to print, and I was teaching a class, and a kid comes up to me and says, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure, what's the question?" He goes, "Why would you put mayonnaise on a burn?"
Right.
And I'm going, why would you put mayonnaise on a burn? So I went and looked at the script, and it said apply clean, dry dressing. To that kid, dressing
was like ranch.
This is perfect. This is exactly the stuff I need to know. So I went in and changed one word, and I changed it to bandage.
Right.
And so, but just imagine the perception that a kid would get looking at, dressing.
And that's why I have Ray here, because I don't let him know what we're talking about. I always let Ray come into the show, and I say, "Ray, I need you here," because sometimes I go off on a tangent and I get into science or technical terminology, and I need you to bring me back down to earth and say, "Hey, wait, that don't make sense. What are you talking about?"
What are you talking about? Putting Thousand Island Ranch on the burn? What is going on?
Right.
Well, and so I went in and changed it, and I had a Airlift Northwest helicopter pin on my shirt, and I took it off and gave him and said, "That's the best question anybody has asked me in a year."
So when we come back from break, because I've let other kids look at this, I've let other people look at this, I want to talk about the other books that you writing, especially the one that will stop the fear. So when children come into the hospital, nurses can introduce them to the book about welcome to the hospital, and children get a book that is exactly the same type of book as this, where it can be sanitized, wiped down, and a child can look through it. It has a lot of pictures, and they can understand what kind of things will happen as they're being brought into the hospital for an emergency or a short visit or for a small surgery like appendix out or tonsillitis, whatever. And then they can feel like, okay, I understand what I'm going to go through, and these people coming in and out of my hospital room, I will feel safe. I won't have fear. So that's where we're going today, is Stop the Fear. And Mr. T's here with his books and his programs that can help and empower children, not only in the home, but in the hospital. And he also is expanding on that with adoptions and other things. So when we come back, we'll talk more about more of these books that Mr. T is doing. And we're here on the Be Healthy Show, and this is Nurse Debbee. And hang on and listen to this little beat, and we'll be back. And hold on, we're here with Ray and Debbee. Hold on. And Mr. T's here. Nurse and retired U.S. Navy on a mission to promote health, wellness, but most importantly, people, happiness. And you are tuned in live to the B. And today's show is hashtag Stop the Fear, security and maturity. And we have discussed safety, solace. And I want you people to know you are not alone. And you need to stay focused on positivity, people. And you need to know that we have Mr. T at the table today. We have Ray Love trying to sing. And the reason why I played that song, because Mr. T brought to the table his book that he wrote about first aid. And in the book, in his program Faces, he has a program that is going to be pitched and brought to the schools. And if you want this brought to your school or your charter school, you can let us know here. You can get a hold of us and let us know here. I'm Googleable, people. You know this. You know I'm Googleable. Just Google me up and let me know that you want to know more about Faces. In fact, I think you probably Google up Mr. T's book. We got it on our website. You know how to get a hold of the bee. Don't act like you don't. And you can get this into your school and get the program. But I'm not going to mention the name. Yes, I am. Heart Savers. Go over. I want to push this because swim time is coming up. You need to get CPR and first aid. Go over to Heart Savers. Register you and your children and get into the course. But that's not where Mr. T stops. He has a series of books, and they're waterproof, and they can be disinfected. Why is that funny? Why is that funny, Ray? That's not funny. Because if you're working because these books are for crisis interventions. Like, say you go into CPS custody. Well, you won't. You're a man-child, but they can't take you.
If they take me to CPS, it's a problem. Their numbers are pretty low.
Well, yeah, they might take you. But if they take Ray to CPS custody into foster care, because he looks like a big man-child walking around. If they take him, then he might get one of Mr. T's books, and he might understand the process that CPS is to reunite him to the family. Maybe there's a crisis going on, and he needs to go there for a while until he gets his act together. Yeah. I
might need a little help.
I'm not saying it's for the good or the better. Maybe he's walking around like a zombie with the zombies. He needs to go. So, or he's fallen down because he's not wearing the proper shoes. We talked about wearing the proper shoes. And he has to go into the hospital. Or you're a kid and you need to go in the hospital. You got appendicitis, or you broke your arm and you need to have surgery, or whatever, tonsillitis, and they say, we want to take your tonsils out. We're going to steal your tonsils. And you're a little kid and you're scared. You're like, they're going to take my tonsils, Mommy. Why are they taking my tonsils? Why do they want my tonsils? Is there a tonsil monster that eats tonsils, Mommy? You're not explaining. Then you go to Mr. T, and he's got a book that will explain to you what happens when you go into the hospital. There is not a tonsil monster. We need to stop the fear. You need to get on board with Faces and understand there's a program for children in crisis. In fact, he's even got a book that will help kids understand death and dying process, so that if something happens in the family, you can read this book with your child and help them understand what's going to happen in the family, when crises occur. And, when I talked about disinfecting a book, I meant that when a nurse comes out, we got this book at the nurse's station. Right, we can bring it over to them.
Who's touched it? There's
a lot of cooties in the hospital, and we can't just give a book. We need a book that we can disinfect.
Yes, definitely.
There is all kinds
Someone
of
sneeze on a book. You don't want to pick up a book somebody done sneezed on.
You can't even talk on my microphone because
Exactly. You never know what people will do, and that's a good thing. I like that the book can be submerged in water if need be.
Yeah, my kids like to take all kinds of stuff in the swimming pool. Imagine if I give them that. Wait a minute, my friend's drowning. I got the book. One jumps in with the book, and the other one's doing CPR on the surfboard.
Exactly. You got water around. You need some
It's
funny,
but it's not funny.
It's going to be good because the pages don't get wet.
Yeah, your iPhone. Yeah, it's water resistant, but this can go underwater. My kid would, danger. He would take that book underwater and he'd be like,
Why would it be underwater with the book?
Don't ask danger questions. We were at Goodwill yesterday, and I watched him negotiate with this other kid to get a $5 zebra.
They
Yeah, a
negotiate?
life-size baby zebra. And I watched from across Goodwill, and I was like, Danger's going to get that zebra. He's going to get it. And if he wins the negotiation between these 5 kids at Goodwill for that zebra, I'm buying it at 50% off day. And he won. I don't know what he
I give you
conned
2
those
Hot
other
Wheels
kids.
and a checkerboard with no checkers.
No, he told those kids, he said, listen, I could get my mom to buy this. I was thinking to myself, he is something. And all these kids were like, well, I already have a lion and I have a zebra. I have a tiger. So a tiger wouldn't really go with a zebra. And Daniel's like, well, in India, there are zoos that have tigers. I could hear him, but he was telling the kid, no, you're right. Yeah, you probably don't want the zebra because tigers and zebras don't go together. If you had a lion, this is what Danger told him. He said, if you had a lion, then maybe you would want the zebra. But you don't want the zebra.
You got to feed the lion.
And then
That's
he
no lion.
okay, so then he was down to 1 boy left. He was down to 1 boy. Out of 5 kids, he was down to 1 boy. He talked that boy out of that zebra. It's a $5 zebra. And if you buy that at the zoo, it's like $250. The zebra is this high.
Oh, wow.
So we get the zebra, and I said, so all these people were like so amazed that Danger had got the zebra, had won the zebra, because it's 50% off day. The place is packed.
Wow.
So, and it was brand new, because we went to one of the Frou Goodwills.
Oh, one of the good ones.
I won't tell you where it's one.
Because you know some of them Goodwills don't have much of nothing in there for you. You actually used pieces of gum in there that they sell them for $1 a pack. It's pretty bad.
No, you get, don't worry, yeah. So you see Meryl Streep's T-shirts in there and her old Oscars, but oh my goodness, did I just say that? I fell off the kindness moment. But anyway, so we're walking out with the zebra. Everyone's like, oh, we're so proud of you. You got the zebra. You got the zebra. What are you going to name it? I said Martin Luther King Jr.
Sweet.
Get it? Because he's
bringing
biracial.
everything together.
He's biracial.
He brought everyone together.
He did, because he did. Not only did he do that in the store, all the kids were like negotiating over him, but he's
You heard it here first, everyone.
So I just wanted to tell you that story. You know, I always got to tell the story. And then did I tell you about Mad Ray? Madzilla? What she said about my makeup?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Thanks.
She
Madzilla.
said maybe I shouldn't be wearing eye makeup because it looks like I'm an 8th grader with a brand new eye pencil. So
what is that? What is the deal with that? I mean, they draw the eye lines like way up here back into their hairline or something.
Apparently, she
Is
said,
that what they call wings?
She says I had no business
terrible.
with eye makeup. So I'm gonna say, Madzilla, you know what? If you're listening, I just want you to know, I know you have your cell phone and you're not supposed to. So there. I know you have.
So let me ask you a question. Mr.
Yes.
T.
So Mr. T, back to your book.
Really quick question. So the CPR, does makeup cause a problem? Like if you're giving someone that just got a bunch of makeup on their face and
Why would you be wearing makeup?
Not me.
No, but that's a good question. But no,
Right.
it shouldn't. It
Okay.
should not be a problem.
So what if I'm allergic to what that person has as far as makeup wise? You know, some people have different allergies to different things. So
you know, and
You know what he's asking too. When you're giving CPR, if you're concerned about catching something or something on their face, you can always, number one thing is chest compressions. You want to be giving them chest compressions, and that's why we played the music to the beat of staying alive, staying alive.
Didn't know that. That's awesome.
Staying alive, staying alive. And the number one thing is to be doing the chest compressions correctly until the first responders, ambulance services, an RN, or somebody that knows CPR and can do it correctly gets there. And most of the time, like, I have a device in my purse where I can breathe in, but the air won't come back into my mouth so that I don't get
So there is like protective type things like that.
Different transmittable, communicable diseases.
And again, it's compression. As long as you're moving air through the system, you're going to be okay.
Okay.
But I just want to clarify something too.
Yeah, about your books.
About the books, because this is the first book I've written. The other books have been outlined, and I'm sitting on the outline, but I've been building this program since the 90s. And I'm kind of a guy who believes that things will happen when they happen. So It gets legs and then it falls down. It gets legs and it falls
But
down.
it's about the message and getting it
about the
out there.
message.
And that's what you're doing. And you're putting it out there. And that's what's important.
It's empowering kids.
Right. And stopping the fear and letting people know that it's out there. So we'll be back after this music. And hopefully next week we'll have my music back. I don't know what happened to my music. I can't even. What is this? And you're listening to the Be Healthy Show with Nurse Debbee and Ray Loves. I have so many wrinkles.
As soon as we're done, I've got to show you.
And then
my
we've
album.
got
It's in my car.
Okay.
we're gonna
On my phone.
we are
Really?
stopping the fear
Okay.
today. This is what we're doing. We're stopping the fear today. What is okay, I need to do my roots. I think I'm just gonna dye my hair black. I don't know why I'm trying to fool people with this yellow. What is with this lighting? I don't know who put this lighting in here. Yeah, we're back. We stopping the fear today.
Stop the
This
fear.
Nurse Debbee.
Stop the fear. Stop the fear.
Hello, universe. This Nurse Debbee
And Ray Love.
and Ray Love on the Be Healthy Show. And we on a mission, people, to promote health, wellness, but most importantly, happiness. And this is Nurse Debbee, registered nurse and retired U.S. Navy. And I want you also to know that I am a member of the American Legion.
Yes.
And I have just almost put my check in the mail to renew my membership. And I want to just to do a shout out because we are stepping up our game here because we are in it to win it, whatever the heck that means. We've been doing radio a long time, and we are very famous in the industry. I want y'all to know that I did retire from fame when I was, what is it, Mom? I don't know. My mom is listening. I retired from fame when I was 7. And then I became a famous guitarist, and I retired from that when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
And then I retired from modeling and acting again when I was 16, and I worked for a very high-profile talent agency here in the Valley. And I taught modeling, runway. The kids say, listen to this. This guy over here, Mr. T. I'll pay you the fee.
Mr. T.
So anyway,
Mr.
I want to
T.
just stop talking about show business for just a second here and get back to my papers. I like to shuffle my papers and everything. So this is the end of the show here, and I just want to conclude the show and let you know we were on the Be Healthy Show today.
Yes.
We have ran a show today called #Stop the Fear, aka the zombies. Don't poison your brain watching stuff that is toxic, okay? You can watch that stuff, but just remember, whatever you put in your eyes and back into your brain, sometimes it can be toxic, okay? So just know, on the internet and whatever you're watching on the internet, it can be toxic. So you need to stop the fear, find security, and be in maturity. And that's why you need to decide, are you going to be a zombie, a walker, or are you going to be
What about a crawler?
one of the, or you a crawler? And then you got to say to yourself, or am I going to just stop the fear, find my peace, find my solace, and or find a mic or drop a mic or figure it out, people.
Yes.
This is #Stop the Fear.
Stop the
Stop
fear.
the fear.
Stop
Right,
the fear.
right.
Stop
Or
it.
get a dog. Get a dog. Walk your dog.
Rescue.
And don't just stop this, people.
Stop the
And then
fear.
we're gonna
Rescue
help
the
the
dog.
children, like Mr. T. Do something for the kids.
Mr. T.
Let's do something for the kids. Positivity and #kindness. #kindness matters. #care. Care about the kids. Stop the fear of the kids. The kids are getting freaked out. And this book here that Mr. T is doing and this program that he's doing, I just want to do a buzz out to him. #buzz out to Mr. T and all the things that he's done. This book is phenomenal. First aid book for children. And it's a child's guide to medical emergencies, what to do until help arrives. So, and what it also does is a book that parents and children need to get together and do. And it also promotes human contact and human interaction. And that's what we're lacking today, people. Human interaction. We need to get off the internet and get together with the family. And that's why I do this show on Sundays. We get together on Sundays for dinner with the family at 4, and we listen to Nurse Debbee, and we try to be happy and have some wellness and have some human interaction. We put that cell phone down, and we listen to these live radio waves. Like back in the day, Queen Elizabeth, I like her, and I know, I come from some English roots, and sometimes, I know about the royals. And, when hard times came to her country and her father had passed, you know what she did? She went and she took to the airwaves and she comforted her country. And she let her country know that you're going to get through this. Stop the fear. She stopped the fear. Ray, love, that's what she did. The Queen of England. Exactly. And I just want to shout out congratulations to her because she just got, I think it was her 65th Jubilee. Is that right, Mr. T?
Yep.
You know that? So I want to do a shout out to her.
Wow. Which is a long time.
It's it is the longest ever in England. And I want to do a shout out to her, a buzz out to her, and a curtsy because I was taught how to do a curtsy at a young age. Because at some point I will meet the Queen of England. I don't know when. I have tea in my house in case she ever shows up. There's always tea in my house. And there's always wine in my house in case Jesus shows up.
I got wine for Jesus too.
There's always coffee in case Mr. T or somebody who wants some coffee.
Mr. T,
so those are
like
3 things you should always have in your house. And there's always bread in case some birds show up.
I like bread.
Yes.
So as we close up the show, I just want to promote. We're gonna and I want you guys to remember this phrase, okay? Because I'm about cliches. So I have decided.
Cliche-inator.
Okay, but I want you to start this cliche too. You're more than welcome to use it, although you're not a cubby, because cubbies. What I want to explain to you. You're gonna get tricked. Don't make me fall off the kindness wagon. Let me tell you something about cubbies, okay? There's a difference between cubbies and other fans, like Cardinal fans and other fans. You know why? Because cubbies, we are part of the team. That's the difference. And we have faith, loyalty, and forgiveness. We forgive you
and
for not.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
It took how many years for that to happen?
So the
Cardinals have had bad luck month to month.
Okay, listen.
And they get over it.
Okay, here's
I
my
love
cliche.
the Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals all the way.
Okay, listen. This is my cliche. I will allow you two to use it. Okay? In a Rizzo moment, in a Rizzo second, the whole world, the whole universe can change in a Rizzo second and rise up. The stars will shine brighter and everyone will smile and say, it can happen. It can happen. Because us cubbies, we don't lose faith. And it only has to happen every 108 years for us.
108 years.
That doesn't matter. It's about the faith, the loyalty, and the forgiveness that we show the rest of the world. And I have faith that this show has stopped the fear somewhere.
It has.
It has. For all the zombies and walkers. And also, I want you people to know, if you've got something you want to say, let me know, because I'll bring you out here and I'll let you talk. Because I really want to emphasize what Queen Elizabeth did. And that's why she has inspired me to come back here full force and keep going. Because in a time of crisis where people are just irrational and can't heal, she took to the mic, like you as a comic. Take to the mic. And look how successful she is.
That is beautiful.
That was her first thing that she did as a queen. She took to the mic for her country, for her family, and she comforted people. And I think that is the most amazing thing. Radio should always be there for people. It is an amazing tool. It is our freedom of speech. It is something that, as a nurse, as anyone, it is your right to get in front of a mic. And independent radio is a tool. I mean, you may get a podcast, you may get on the internet, but when you are on the airwaves, this doesn't go away. This goes to outer space forever and
And that's
ever.
what I've told that to my students, that when you talk on a cell phone, you're on the radio or whatever, those go out infinitesimal.
Yeah,
They
but
continue
internet
on
can
and
be
on
censored
on.
and they can just shut you down anytime.
Everywhere.
So I said, 40 light years from now, somebody could be hearing you on the phone going, hey, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah, the aliens are listening. That's why I always say, hello, universe.
If the aliens listen to me, it's going to be a problem.
So, and then I always say this to everyone. I want to let you all know that you can find your peace. You can find your solace. And here's my song. Hello, spring training is begun. Hello, Cubbies. Welcome to the Valley. And be back next Sunday at 4 for more with Ray Love and the Bee.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Tune in next week for the wonderfulness of radio.
Whoa. And thank you, Mr. Tozer.
You're very welcome.
'Cause it's rude.
See, now my favorite quote